Joining us now, Congressman Mike Ezell. He represents Mississippi's 4th Congressional District. Good morning, Congressman. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Hey. Good morning.
Hey, we got you there?
Okay. Yeah, I got my phone here, and I'm looking at you on the screen. So,
yes, sir.
Sometimes you got to improvise.
Yes, sir. Good to see you. So wanted to have you on today in the wake of a very eventful first few days there at the House of Representatives is one way to put it. Give us kind of your thoughts about this protracted process to get a speaker seated. What did you think about all that, sir?
Well, I'll tell you this. At first I was, kind of like the old deer in the headlights. And then as I did, I learned pretty fast. Especially when it comes to dealing with people. I've done that my whole life. And I tell you what I saw was kind of reminded me of the old Friday night football game. And behind closed doors when the coach would get you in there after halftime and let's regroup here, boys, and get this thing going.
Yeah.
So I tell you, it was a part of history, and I think about that, and I'm very I guess you'd say I've been very humbled by all this stuff because I am a part of history now, and it's been great. I got to tell you, I've enjoyed it. It was early mornings and late nights, but hey, it kind of reminded me of working midnight shift back when I was on the road.
Sure, yeah. All throughout the weekend, and there was a point in there, did you ever think, but there were certainly political pundits were saying, I don't think we're going to get McCarthy over the finish line. The Republicans need to go to Plan B. Did you ever feel like that was the case, or did you think they'd get it worked out?
No, I knew almost from day one, day two, that they were going to get this worked out. But, I tell you what, the American people are tired of business as usual, and that's what I was hearing behind the scenes from some of these men and women that were, really wanting to get in there, make a difference. Congress hasn't got a great reputation right now for getting anything done. And that's what the main charge was. These folks wanted to get something done for the people, and not only in their districts, but across America. And they were sincere and passionate about all of it. As we saw there on the video there, we almost saw the old close to a, a wrestling match there, as we say at home, wrestling. And but I tell you, it was behind the scenes, Kevin had over 200 votes every time, and so these folks that were holding and wanting to make sure that everybody worked together and worked hard. So I felt confident from the beginning that Kevin was going to make it, but there was some wrestling went on there behind closed doors.
A lot of drama, no doubt about it. So you got him seated. You guys got sworn in and went straight to work. Adopted a rules package. I'll share that just based on some of the members of Congress of the House that I saw over the weekend on the Sunday shows, I questioned whether or not the rules package had the necessary votes, but it turns out it did. Only had one Republican defector. No Democrats, of course, voted for it. Are you pleased with the rules package at this point? Obviously, you voted for it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely pleased with it. And I'm proud to be a part of this. So and again, I've always been one to show up and go to work. And so, yes, sir, I was very pleased with it. And I think things are really going to go fast and furious in the future. We've got a lot of folks that are depending on us to do what we said we were going to do. And, like I say, what I have discovered, I've been a policeman my whole life, but what I have discovered behind the closed doors, there's some serious conversations going on, some passionate beliefs in America, and we all got here on the same wave of, I am concerned about my country, and I want to do something. And so it showed up in the debates. It showed up in the debates behind closed doors. But at the end of the day, we got it done.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other, right after you got the rules package in, we get a bill on the floor which was consistent with a commitment made by the Speaker, I think consistent with the desires of the holdouts. We got a bill to defund a good bit of the money that was going to the IRS, designated to bring on 87,000 new IRS agents.
Yeah.
Crazy. So that passes the House, but it likely won't see the light of day in the Senate.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this, if we stick together and hold the line and make sure that the Senate understands, they got to, it's just a very slim majority over there in the Senate.
Yeah.
We can get senators to come on, get on board with us and work together with us. We can make these folks do what they're supposed to do, because as you and I both know, we can't keep spending money we don't have.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So it appears today that we're going to get a bill perhaps to be voted on that would replace the income tax with the fair tax. The Fair Tax Act, introduced by Representative Buddy Carter from Georgia, I believe. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I agree with. We've got to do something. These things are so complicated. I mean, it's not like where you can just fill out the form anymore. You've got to have a CPA, and you got to call the guard at Buckingham Palace, and you got to do everything else to try to.
It's crazy. No doubt. No doubt. So we need something.
Yes, sir.
Well, and again, that I'm not sure if all Republicans will vote for that. I doubt any Democrats would, because it's viewed as somewhat regressive in nature, that it would increase the burden on the lower income levels and maybe decrease that on the higher income levels. But I think it's good that we finally get that thing. It's been out there for years. We get it on the table as a serious measure to debate.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We may not get it exactly like we want it, but let's get some progress moving forward so that we can do something for the people, because this tax thing is it is terrible.
It's terrible. I agree.
It is absolutely terrible.
So something else that has occurred, which I think is something that will be music to the ears of conservatives in this country, and that's the House GOP. The Republicans have approved a resolution to create a panel, at least, to investigate the weaponization of various agencies of the federal government. And what bothers a lot of people, Congressman, you coming from the law enforcement background, is the FBI. We can't have that.
No, absolutely not. And during my career as a police officer, I spent 3 years assigned to the FBI, and the men and women that work in that office are dedicated. They love this country. But, as like so many other things that happen, you get some of the folks at the top that like to be involved with, all the hierarchy in the government. And the first thing you know, they're starting down that slippery slope. And the next thing you know, they can't get out of it. So, what I have seen, Jim Jordan is going to be issuing subpoenas out of that committee. And, we're going to hold some of these people accountable for what they've done. We can't, the American people have always looked up and respected the FBI and our law enforcement officers. And to see things that happen like that going all the way back to the 2016 election on Trump, this just cannot happen again. We cannot let this happen.
It feels like, Congressman, just from an outsider's perspective, that a lot of this move to politicize these institutions is coming from the top. It's not the rank and file good people that serve in these organizations. It's coming from the top, and it's all politically and ideologically motivated.
Absolutely. Again, the people that are on the receiving end of this, who would have ever dreamed that the FBI would have raided President Trump's home? Who would have ever dreamed that? Never. And, this is just something that cannot happen again. We've got to stop this, and we've got to hold these people at the top accountable. And I tell you, after working in that office for 3 years, I've got a lot of information. I've worked hard all my life and that was the whole reason why I ran for sheriff back in 2014, is because of what had gone on at the sheriff's office. And here we are today in the Congress, and I'm going to do everything I can for the people.
Well, that's awesome. And what I think folks hope, I'm among them, is that just by establishing this panel and starting this investigation, maybe it'll get these folks to stand down and show them you can't overstep your boundaries here. And if we could just slow it down at a minimum, because it's ridiculous, we can't have a functioning country like that. Congressman, good to see you and talk to you, sir. Thanks so much for coming on, and I'm sure we'll be visiting some more. Good luck on the session. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Congressman Mike Ezell, who represents Mississippi's 4th Congressional District, has been our guest here on Middays. We're stepping aside for a break, coming right back in the Element Wealth Studios.